didn't just wake up and say, today I'm going to kill someone. I've been to jail, I think, on 3 different occasions. Yeah.
3 different occasions?
Yeah, the last time was the longest stint that
Okay.
Yeah, which was 18 years.
18 years?
Yeah.
That's a very long time. Growing up, you did a lot of little small naughty things here and there. Can you just give us examples?
There was this one client that I had, and she had owed me for just over 3 months. And then I went to this lady's house and I asked her, you know what, I really need this money. And she gave me the wrong answer. She said to me, you an ex-prisoner, you can make a plan. And then she slammed the door in my face. And I went around the corner, hit the window out, went inside, and I strangled this lady. It took a whole lot of anger and frustration and emotions for me to get to that point. I believe that this lady, she shouldn't have died. What I did was so wrong. What she said to me, she said it out of ignorance, not to provoke me to the point where I'm killing her. Nobody stopped me. She tried to stop me. She grabbed my hands, but I was so angry. I might look small, but I'm quite strong.
Dumelang and welcome to In Detail and Beyond podcast with myself, Julia Madiboro. On the show, like the previous episodes, we just sit down and have conversations with people who we believe that have a story to tell in regards to their experience and living in their second chances. Today's guest is someone who's no stranger to YouTube. She has her own YouTube channel. She is someone who's very outspoken about her experience, and she's someone we really felt like should come here and just share more and just give us light and educate us more about her journey. Ladies and gentlemen, let's just welcome the beautiful. You look so young. You look so beautiful and so young. Let's just welcome Harriet Lucas. How are you, ma'am?
I'm good, thank you. So happy to be here. Excited, and like I told you, a bit skeptical. But
You did?
Yeah, I would love to share.
Yes.
And let people know what happens.
Yes.
You know? Yeah.
And as I was telling you now that you look so young, you look so beautiful. Are you able to tell us your age?
Well, let me just tell you that I don't always look like this.
Oh, it's a special occasion.
Cameras, yeah. I'm 44 years old, and I think there's the saying in jail or prison, however you want to refer to it, that it keeps you young because you're not out in the sun. You are so secluded, and so I think that plays a role with regards to your aging. Yeah,
that's a beauty secret no one has shared. We've had so many guests here, but no one has told us about that part.
Okay.
Actually, that's very interesting. So just to start off your story right at the beginning, tell us a bit more about yourself, your upbringing, where you grew up, where are you from, and who are you?
Okay. I was born in Cape Town.
Okay.
And my mother moved around a lot. We shifted house a lot because of her work condition. And in those times, I think it was still apartheid or something. And she used to work for the bus. So when they moved, she had to move, type of thing. And then we had to move with her. Eventually, she placed us with our grandmother for a while. And from there, I think with all the moving around, it also affected us in a way, and we also had negative experiences as well with that, and I think that also shaped me in the person that I grew up to be, being very angry and I would say generally misbehaving. You know, I didn't understand things, and we grew up without a father because my sisters and myself, we all have different fathers. We feel 4 sisters, and fortunately for them, they know their fathers, but I didn't, and my mother just didn't want to speak about it, so it developed a big, strong anger in me. So growing up, I was always in trouble, and mostly because I was so inquisitive. I wanted to know things, and people didn't have answers for me, and it made me angry. So I ended up in children's homes and places for naughty children, and eventually, I think I did my first 2 years in standard 6, and then I decided I'm leaving school.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take on life. And then with that cleverness, I ended up doing wrong things, getting involved in things that landed me in jail. Yeah, and I've been to jail, I think, on 3 different occasions. Yeah.
3 different occasions.
Yeah, the last time was the longest stint
Okay.
Yeah, which was 18 years.
18 years?
Yeah.
That's a very long time. Let's go back a little bit, back to your childhood. You touched a little bit on how growing up you did a lot of little small naughty things here and there. Can you just give us examples?
Well, I think it was as a result of an abusive household, because my mother was drinking, and there was like always different men around, and as kids we were expected to be seen and not heard. You know, that thing. Sit in the corner over there while the big people drinks and parties, and then when they pass out, then you have to get them on the bed, clean their vomit and stuff like that. Yeah. And in terms of the naughtiness, like one example, I think I was in that time, it was sub A and sub B. There was no grades.
Yes. This was a long time ago.
Yeah. So I'm telling my age, huh?
You don't look your age, so it's okay.
So there was this instance where my mother, we had to go to the school in Cape Town, and it was quite upmarket school because it was in the Boer Kaap, and that time it was like considered a nice school. And these kids had nice things like in their pencil bags, and I was envious of it, and I asked my mom to buy it, but she didn't. And there was a corner shop, and I would take like this fancy shop hunter.
Yeah.
You know, that's one example of
what the early stages.
Yeah.
Sure. And then at what age did you decide then this is it, I need to be an adult, I need to be by myself?
You know, that was actually forced on me because of the things that I did at home. My mom used to chase me from the house at an early age and say, go to the street and you're not staying in my house and doing these things. And so it was forced upon me from early on to, you know, just stand on my own 2 feet and see life. And I think it's only now that when I was released from prison in 2021, that's when it finally dawned on me that, you know what, I need to take responsibility.
Sure.
Yeah.
And at that time, I don't know why I'm getting emotional. Maybe it's because also I'm a man and I'm listening to you from, obviously, you know. So, but do you think at the time what she was trying to do, which was trying to get you in line, was it working? Let
me say that how she grew up and what she knew as a mother, that's the best that she could do.
Yeah.
Whether it was right or wrong, I can't say. For anybody else, they would have their own opinion. But I believe that she did her best. At the time, I felt that this woman hates me and I hate her, and you know, it was a bomb. You know, a recipe for disaster. But in hindsight, as an adult myself, now I don't have kids, but as an adult and seeing how life is and how difficult life is, I understand. You know, irrespective what she did and in her personal life and whatever, but she always put us first. We went to school, we never went to bed hungry, and the work that she did was for us so that we could eat and we could go to school, you know, type of things. But you don't know that as a child.
You don't.
You know,
you really don't.
Yeah,
sure. And then now let's fast track to you leaving home now. Where do you go? How old were you even at the time?
Well, the first time I was like 4 years old.
4 years old?
I was so naughty.
Why did you leave home at 4?
Yeah, so you know what? There was an instance. I think I was like I said, my mom moved around a lot. This is like after I was born, right after I was born, and it so happened that I don't know where she had to go and work, and she left us with my grandmother. And my grandmother was this churchical person, very into church, and unfortunately, one of the church members like sort of molested me. You know, some higher up. I think it was a deacon or something in the church, and at that stage, I think I was like just 3, 4 years old. I'm not sure, and I think that sort of, because I knew at that age that what this guy did was wrong. And then when I told him, like in the morning, hey, I think, because he didn't rape me, but he molested me. You know, he touched me in a way that I felt was not right. And I spoke up about it to my grandmother, and she spoke to the pastor of the church, and he said that, why didn't I speak up in the night when it happened, and nothing happened, so let us just leave it, you know. So I think I developed something there that wasn't kosher, you know. And so when we had to go, my mom came to fetch us, I think after I was 4. She came to fetch us to stay with her in Cape Town. And I decided I'm running back to my grandmother. And that's where the running away came in. Because now she was drinking and she was beating us when she's drunk, my mother. And I felt that I needed to run to my grandmother. And I took the train from Cape Town all the way to Worcester. And they got me, the conductors got me, and like, I gave them a run around at first. I was so clever, Shane.
Now that you think about it, you're like, no, man. I was actually a very clever child.
And they like asked me the first time, like, where's your mom? I'm like, no, she went to the shop.
At what age was this?
At 4 years old. And I'm like, no, my mom was like, she went to the shop, and then they found me again.
You at the time?
I was so small.
Very small.
I was so small. And when he found me again on the train, he said, where's your mom? You're taking me to your mom now. And then I knew I was caught. I said, I'm alone. Then the next station, I think they called the police or something, because the police and the social workers were waiting on the station. Then they took me away.
So then where did they take you?
First they took me to some children's home or something while we waited to find out who's my mom, where she is, and all of that. I think it took about 2 or 3 days. Yeah. And then they came to fetch me, took me back home. My mom gave me hiding, and that was it.
Sure. Yeah. Now let's talk to now then your adult, not really adulthood, but then the point where now you are old enough to realize your actions or what you're doing. Maybe you going to high school or just after high school.
Well, I was always just angry at life. I was always just angry. And like I said, the decisions I made was based on emotions. It wasn't based on being wise and knowing what's right from wrong, because I didn't have that influence in my life to tell me that this is the right way, you know. So it was mostly based on emotions and what I felt. And because of my grandmother, that early age God influence, I always had this thing that, you know, nobody wants to tell me who's my dad, so I'm gonna call Dad my father. So I had this relationship, sort of, you know, even though it was misguided, but yeah, I'm thankful for it today. But anyway, so so yeah, I would do things, but it would be out of rebellion more than anything else. So when I went to school after 2 weeks in high school, I just said, I always got straight A's at school. I always was like first in class and stuff. But 2 weeks into high school, because my mom by that time had married my stepfather, and it was just horrid. And I decided, you know what, this is it. You know, and from there, things just went downward. You know, it just went downward, because you think you're clever, but you're too young to know life at that age. But you think you know everything. You know, you're a teenager, 13 or something, and everybody else is stupid and you're clever.
Yes, and you're clever. Everyone else doesn't know what they're doing or saying. You're the only one that knows at the time. I really understand that part. So then, what leads to your first crime? My
mother, actually. She threw me out the house again, and then she didn't want to give me my clothes.
How old were you at the time?
I think I was 14.
Okay.
14. And I felt in my cleverness that because of all the other previous times that she's thrown me out the house, I had to make a plan to get my own clothes. And then now she's telling me I must go, and she doesn't want to give me my clothes, and she didn't buy me these clothes. And I felt it's my right to
Who
have.
bought you these clothes?
I had to make a plan wherever I went. You know, if I found a place to sleep with people,
Yes.
then I would ask them, give me these jeans, or you know, things like
So
this.
you hustled for these clothes?
I totally hustled for all of it because my mother just refused, because I've got this thing of I wasn't very humble. I wanted this and I wanted that. And I wanted the best only. I didn't want those things, or, you know, sorry for using that brand name, yeah? Yeah. But I wanted the quality things. And so that's what I set out myself out for, you know. I would hustle for it, I would work for it, I would lie and scheme for it if I could, but I would want what I wanted. So when she threw me out, and I said to her, I can go, because it was like the 100th time that she threw me out. So she didn't want to give my clothes. Then I waited across the street for her to go to work, and I broke the small window, went into the house, took my clothes and left. Then she went and made a case and told them I broke into her. Yeah. And then they arrested me, and eventually, not immediately after that, eventually I got 6 months for that I served in prison.
14 years old.
By then, by the time they sentenced me, I was, I think, 17. Yeah.
Okay.
When it caught up with me, because when I did go to court, after 6 months, the judge threw the case out.
Okay.
He said, no, this case, because I explained to him what happened, and he said, but if you do anything else, then this case will come back. And then it did happen where I got arrested again, and then that case came up and I got 6 months for it.
Sure, what was it for the second time?
The second time I assaulted a guy. At first it was attempted murder, because he was in a coma for 2 weeks in hospital. And then when he survived the coma, it changed to assault.
Okay.
What grievous intention. He tried to rape me, and I defended myself, and popped you out.
And he ended up being the victim.
Yeah.
Sure. So 18 years in prison is a very long time. What led to that incident?
Well, I was in a bad relationship, and this guy, I was still young when I got involved with him, and I didn't know he was married with 6 kids. I didn't know he had another girlfriend with 3 kids, and he had already slept with me by the time I found out.
You found out, yeah.
And it was like a secret life or something, I don't know. But anyway, he was abusive, he used drugs, and many a times I would have to make a plan for him to get drugs. And he even got me also hooked on the drugs, which was Mandrax at that time. And somewhere there, I just got fed up, and I was a driver at that time. I used to do chauffeuring, like private driving for clients.
How old were you at the time?
I was just after 16.
Okay.
16 or 17. I was driving on a learner's.
You really had to grow up very early. 16, and you already had was it a permanent job at the time?
No, because I didn't have a driver's license, I had to get like whatever I could find. You know, people that didn't want to pay full money to professional drivers, you know, to go here and there for them, like to the shop or whatever, like older people that can't go to the shop, or, you know, somebody that was too busy that needed something somewhere, then they would contact me because they know.
Then whose car were you using?
Their own.
Oh,
their
okay,
own.
okay.
Yeah, I didn't have a car at all.
Okay.
I learned driving through the taxis, because this guy that I met was a taxi driver.
Okay.
I didn't know he was a taxi driver when I met him, but I found out after that actually he's a taxi driver.
Okay.
So I started learning driving when I was about 14 years old, 14, 15. Yeah. And then I went for my own learners, and when I got my learners, that's when I got involved with this, doing my own thing privately, you know, on the side. And then there was this one client that I had, and she had owed me for just over 3 months, and she always had stories. And this
At 16, what was she owing you for? What did you give her?
for drives that I
Oh, for
did.
drives.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I
Okay.
always used to see her in, because I just felt that, you know what, okay, maybe she's got problems, and
Yes,
she will pay
yes.
me, you know. And then eventually this guy on that night, he was another night where he was beating me and being all hectic and what. And then I went to this lady's house and I asked her, you know what, I really need this money. I think it was something like 12,000.
And it's a lot at that
As it
time.
accumulated, you know.
Yeah.
And she gave me the wrong answer.
What did she say?
She said to me, you're you're an ex-prisoner, you can make a plan. And then she slammed the door in my face. And I just lost it. I just lost it, you know. And I was thinking, I'm not going back to this guy. And I went around the corner, hit the window out, went inside, and I strangled this lady. And yeah, then the police came, I was arrested 18 years later. Yeah.
Sure. So at the time when the incident was happening, what was going on in your head?
I was just fed up.
Yeah.
I was just fed up. I said, you know what, now they can take me, they can lock me up and throw away the key. I'm tired of this life.
And then where were you based at the time?
In Cape Town.
Sure.
I was renting at people's place in the backyard. Yeah.
So then this incident happens and then you are there with her, right? I just want you to walk us through then what happens when the police are called, that whole process, if you still remember it.
Well, it wasn't very long because it was a quiet neighborhood, and they saw me coming in and they heard the window breaking. So between the window breaking and her actually dying wasn't long, because like same time I had a light in my face, as is like, you know, flashlight, like, hey, what is it? And I just stood up, opened the door for them, and they asked me what happened, and I told them what happened. Yeah.
So then that whole process then wasn't very long.
No,
obviously.
No,
because
it wasn't.
Yeah. So
but it felt like a lifetime.
Yeah.
It felt like time stood still.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when you open for the police and then this incident is happening, does now the anger leave you? Do you realize what just happened?
No, I was numb. I just switched off. Yeah. It was like robotic. You know, go through that whole motion. I know I'm being arrested, I'm going to jail, I'm going to sit in a police house, but I'm like zoned out. Zoned out, totally.
So at what point did you snap back?
I think the day I got my sentence, I was totally in a trance type of thing.
Yeah, because through the whole process of the trial and everything, so obviously now because this thing happened and obviously you got red-handed, you just admitted to everything, or you just obviously, as you said, that you were just saying they can take me away, it's okay. So the whole process of the trial happening, how long did it take? And
well, that was actually another story. They arrested me, and then I spent 4 days in the police house. And in that 4 days, I don't even remember how it passed, but then they came to me because they didn't have evidence of me killing this lady. They only have my word to say that I did it.
Yes.
And then they said to me, okay, I'm gonna be applying for bail, and I need to plead guilty, and then I will get a lesser sentence, and I don't waste the court's time, and all these things. And then I said, yes, okay, no, I want bail. Because then something in my mind told me I needed to go to Transkei, you know. And because I had been to Transkei in my life before previously, to buy Zoe and to sell Zoe. I think the first time I went, I was 13. So anyway, and then as I was in the police house, I said to myself, I needed to go there to just out this thing.
Yes.
And so when they told me that I can apply for bail, I thought they was going to sentence me and that's the end of it. But then they told me bail, and I thought, there's a chance I can get out here.
To go to Transkei?
Yeah.
Why did you want to do it at Transkei?
A sort of like cleansing.
Okay.
This murder.
Okay.
Because I was not myself at all.
Yeah.
So did the bail thing, got the bail. I phoned a friend. I said, please pay my bail.
Yeah.
Got the bail. Same day, I hit the road. You know, I went to Transkei. I know some friends there, and I stayed there for 6 months. After 6 months, handed myself over. Felt now I'm strong enough to face this thing. And the investigating officers from Cape Town came to fetch me in Transkei. And yeah, it wasn't even long after that I got my sentence.
Sure. So then obviously, which prison did you get sentenced to?
At Pollsmoor.
And what was your sentence at the time?
They gave me 15 years.
15 years?
Yeah, I was 3 years on a waiting trial.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Close to 3 years, so
yeah.
altogether I spent 18 years. Yeah.
Sure. What is your first day at Pollsmoor like?
No, I was there before.
So
I was there before.
Okay. Take us a little bit back.
Yeah.
What were you there for before?
It was the time when I had assaulted that guy who wanted to rape me.
Okay.
So that happened in George. So as I was still a juvenile, so I asked to be transferred closer to my mother's house, which was Pollsmoor. And that's how I got to know Pollsmoor.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was not a nice experience. I almost got stabbed in my eye at that time, and it was hectic because there's also gangsters in prison there, the ladies, and Cape Town is ripe with gangsterism, so it was hectic. You know, I cried on my first day, so yeah.
Now you're coming face to face with your age mates now, people who are also clever out there.
Yeah.
You know? Sure. Then tell us about your prison experience. What was your worst day in there?
For me, when at the time of this murder, when I was still awaiting the bail story, they sent me to Pollsmoor, and I think it was 2 weeks. And during the second week, there was this lady that was the worst, and she was just very rude, and she was like one of the gang leaders or something, and extremely violent and aggressive and all of those things. And I was keeping to myself because I was not in my right mind. And one day she came to my bed. I didn't want to wake up for parade, and I wasn't fine that day. And she came and she swore me and like threatened me to wake up. And I said, no, I'm not gonna wake up, I'm not fine. And then she carried on swearing. I said to her, you know what, if you want me to stand parade, you're gonna have to make me stand parade, because I'm not getting up. And then from there I ended up stabbing her, because she beat me to a pulp. I'm small and she's big. She's a big lady. And after she beat me, I got up, I hit a piece of glass and I stabbed her, and she went to outside hospital.
Was this a warden or a cellmate?
It was a cellmate, a female prisoner.
Why was she
Also
forcing you to parade?
Because that's what they do. They're very intimidating. They're very, very intimidating. They rob you, they rape you, they just, they're a menace.
Are these the same people that are called Bomalum in prison?
Well, that specific crew, no, they were not lesbians or malumes or what. They were gangsters. They were like ladies that grew up in Cape Town amongst gangsters, and they've adopted this lifestyle of gangsterism. Like they are 26s or 28s or 27s, and then they come with the Sabella things and gangster things. And luckily, I can say, luckily for me, I've never had to be part of that in my life with all my struggles. So for me, it was just like, I'm not gonna allow this, you know.
Sure. Then after you stab her, that whole process. Then now, what happens? Because you're already in prison and you're serving. Then after you disturb her, then what happens from there?
I was still awaiting trial. So I wasn't sentenced, and I was waiting for bail application. And then this lady, because she was such a menace to everybody in general in prison, there were a crew of like 4 people, 4 ladies, 4 women. And the prison warders themselves had their hands full with them. So when this happened, it was like a relief for them. The wardens actually came to me and said, thank you. Because when she came back from hospital, this girl, she was so placid. She was so calm and respectful, and I think she got a big skrik. She got a fright, because I had stabbed her in the neck, and she could have died. So I think it gave her also a wake-up call type of thing. And yeah.
So you came in and you went for the prison bully ward. So then what point now do you have conversations with yourself in your prison to say that we need to do something? Because I'm looking at you now and I see a very different woman. When did that part happen?
I've always had conversations with myself since I was small. I knew that, that's what I'm doing is wrong, but something just kept on pushing me to do it. So the change came when, I think, because I'm a painter as well, and I painted the Sun City prison, the whole of Sun City prison inside, and it was enamel paint that I used. And
when did this happen?
In 2017, I think I started, and I finished in 20. Actually, I'm not sure about dates, my sister. I'm not sure about dates, but I know it wasn't too long ago, and I had to paint with enamel paint, and I was clever. I wasn't using a mask, and people were asking me, Rasta, why are you not putting a mask? Rasta, why are you not putting?
Why are they calling you Rasta?
I had dreadlocks. I was a Rasta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then I developed this condition where I started spitting blood, and it got bad, and there was like 3 months I couldn't get out of bed, and I had to in and out of bara, and the members was even scared to wake me up because they thought they were going to find a corpse, and that's when, I think,
was it the wake-up call?
Sort of. But I think the wake-up call was another girl who came to me and said to me, Rasta, because we're not allowed to have cell phones in prison, right?
But everyone who's been on this couch has had a cell phone in prison.
Yes. But it only developed recently, because when I came to Sun City, it was like 1 or 2 people. But now everybody's got cell phones,
So also, just sorry to cut you. How did you get transferred from Pollsmoor to Sun City?
Immediately after I got sentenced.
Okay.
But not to Sun City, to Worcester prison. And then from Worcester, I put in another request, and then I had to wait 3 years. And then I got transferred to Westville. And then I had to wait a month and a half, and then I got transferred to Sun City prison. Okay. I always wanted to go to Sun City prison because I have heard through the grapevine that the courses and academically, there's more opportunities. So I wanted to use my time to better myself. So that's why I was pushing to go to Sun City, because all the courses in all the prisons, they're not the same. You understand? So I felt that I needed to get to this. So anyway, then this lady came to me while I was so sick, and she's from Sierra Leone, and all the foreigners had a fondness for me. And they had a big respect for me because I used to stand up for them.
Oh, okay.
I used to stand up for them. When people want to bully them or call them makwere-kweres and all of this, I was the one standing for them or rooting for them.
You're like a big sister.
Big small sister. So she came and she said to me, Rasta, I've got this thing I want to share with you, but I don't know how you're going to feel. And I said, what is it? And she said to me, it's something about the Bible. And I said, no, share it. And, so it was a pastor, a message from a pastor, and I started listening to this like every day. I subscribed to it, and that's where the change came.
Sure. So, what year was this?
I think it was 2018 or 19, I'm not sure.
You had it served how long so far?
Because I was arrested in 2005.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So 18 years is a very long time.
Mm.
How do you make it out of prison alive after 18 years? How do you survive?
Well, like that's where this comes in, where I said to you, my relationship with my father. You know, I've always had that something to go back to.
Yeah.
You know, I always had that as my backbone. You know, so I never used to get visit as because I was so far from home, and my family is struggling. So I had to learn how to hustle for myself in an honest way. You know, so it was a very, very big learning curve for me in terms of having to provide for myself and stuff like that. But it has made me to be more aware of the differences of us as people, because in prison, they put you in a cell with so many different people, like from all walks of life, and there's nobody that's got a rank, there's nobody that's got a title. We all just numbers, you know. You come in there and I don't see your $1 billion house, I don't see your Mercedes Benz.
Your qualification.
You're wearing the same uniform, you're eating the same food. So that it's like it really shaped me to know people better. Like I can look at you and I can know you, type of thing.
Sure. At this time, what is your relationship with family like?
Well, we've always been like a tight family. We're small, but we're tight. And even though we're far apart physically, we still like my mom, I spoke to a lot yesterday, last night on the phone video call. So we do that. We video call and we always keep in touch. We greet every day and we encourage each other, and you know.
Would you say you found the answers that you were looking for as a child and in most of your childhood?
I don't think I could ever find them. I don't think I'll ever find them, but I will find validification in certain events. Like as life progresses for me, then when I see something happening, then it takes me back to something that happened to me and I understand better. It doesn't answer me, but I understand better.
Sure. Are you still looking for your father?
I gave that up. I'm fine with the one that I got. I prefer the one that I have, actually.
Is this your stepfather?
No, this is.
That's very powerful. Sure. So let's talk about now life at the moment. What is life like for you at the moment?
Well, it's been blessed, my sister. It's been blessed. It's been a struggle since I came out. It's like just over 3 years, I think. And at first it was a heavy struggle for me to get into a routine of I'm working or to find employment and to know what I want to do and stuff like that. But the past few months, God has really pulled through for me. You know, I found a steady job, and even though it's not what I ever imagined for myself, or it's not something that I would choose for myself, I am grateful because I can pay my bills. And I've got a reason to wake up every day to say I'm going to work. And I can be tired on the weekend and sleep, you know, instead of just sitting at home and not having any purpose in life. So in that way, I'm very blessed.
Sure. Have any conversations been heard with the victim's family?
Well, she didn't have any family. Apparently, she's not from South Africa. And I only found that out when I tried to reach out.
So you did try to reach out.
But I wrote a letter. And I gave it to the investigating officer. I think it was a 3-page or 4-page letter where I just put it, and then he let me know that he gave it to a close friend of hers.
Sure. What are you currently busy with? Because you do so much work in the educational space in terms of letting other people know, you know. Tell us more about the work that you do.
Well, at the moment, actually, I'm very excited because there's a book coming out. A friend of mine who's a psychiatrist, a therapist, she's been in the industry, I think, for 40 years or so. And she's a private practitioner, and she's been covering my story since I was a juvenile. So she actually wrote some thoughts and stuff about me, and it's being released later next month in June.
Can you please have the first copy, because I want to read that story in detail.
Yeah, so I'm very excited about that, and then we'll be having a launch. We're still working on the final details of that. So, and then, like I said to you earlier, I would like to take my YouTube channel further.
Yes.
But I'm still working also on that, because I need content for it. And with the type of coverage that I want to do, I need certain people, key figures.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a while to organize everything.
No,
but for now, I'm just excited about the book. Yeah.
No, it'll definitely happen soon.
Yeah.
I also just want, as we wrap up, just for you to just take us into your brain and tell us what you want people to take from your story.
Well, mainly, suffering is part of life.
Yeah.
And it's gonna get better.
Yeah.
Even if it's later rather than earlier, but it's gonna get better if you keep persisting in doing good and believing in what is good, then it's gonna work out.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't give up and say, you know what, now I'm gonna do something that's gonna land me in trouble.
Yeah.
Don't go to steal, don't go to kill, don't go to do wrong things to people, and don't fight fire with fire. If somebody did you wrong, just give it to God.
Yeah.
His revenge is much worse than whatever you have to plan for that person.
Yeah.
His retribution is bad, that you end up feeling sorry for the person that hurt you.
Sure.
Yeah,
that's yeah.
So it's like, just have faith in God.
Yes.
And trust in what is good. Don't give the devil that power to say that you've got more power than God. The bad things has more power over the good things. It doesn't know.
Yeah.
Because what you speak over your life is what will happen. If you believe that this bad thing is going to overpower you, it will. But if you believe that you can pull through and that you come out strong on the other side, it will happen. It will happen. You must just have faith in yourself and in God. Yeah.
Sure. Your faith is something else. This is a section where we just let everyone else in the crew just to have a voice and ask questions, clarity, because we don't know when we're going to see you again.
Okay.
So I'm just to ask questions. If you guys have any other questions.
Traditionally, I would it would be something where you would go to a traditional healer or something. But for me, it was more in terms of praying, going in the ocean, washing myself, praying, doing certain rituals for myself, and just being in my own space and sitting at that ocean side on those rocks and just meditating about this thing and releasing and forgiving myself and asking for forgiveness of this person, the spirit of this person. Yeah, that's basically what it meant.
That's actually a good one.
Okay, well, what I can say firstly is that, in each of us there's this light and dark space, and it can be triggered at any moment for any reason. So some of us have a stronger control over that. But I believe that even if you are not a person that is inclined to violence, if somebody had to hurt your child in front of you, you would react. Or if it's your mother or your brother, then even the smallest or most feeble person can become a monster, if under the right circumstances. So it doesn't matter how small I look, but I'm capable of it, obviously. And it took a whole lot of anger and frustration and emotions for me to get to that point. I didn't just wake up and say, today I'm going to kill someone. And then in terms of what actually happened, this lady was not big. She was about my size, and she was feeble. She didn't I believe that this lady, she shouldn't have died. What I did was so wrong.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't have the mental capacity to say, this is what I need to defend myself. Because she was not that type of person. She wasn't a soul like that could say, I need to fight or violent or in any way. She was, what she said to me, she said it out of ignorance. You an ex-offender, go and make a plan. You can make a plan. She said it out of ignorance, not to provoke me to the point where I'm killing her. So what I did to her was so wrong, but because of my anger, nobody stopped me. She tried to stop me. She grabbed my hands, but I was so angry. And even now, I'm working in a steel factory. I might look small, but I'm quite strong, you know. So I can just imagine myself at that age, because I'm much older now, but at that age when I was still young, and I was already doing heavy duty work, the kind of power that I exerted over this woman to be able to kill her. You understand? So, okay, for me, even on another previous channel where they interviewed me, I mentioned that I found Rastafari at a very young age, because where my grandmother lived, there was always Rastas around. And I used to love this notion of one love and the peace that I felt when I'm with them, because they always preach this thing of one love, ahoy. So at the age of 13, 12, 13, that's when I decided that I want to be a Rasta. I think that's the time when I left school. And I started growing dreadlocks, and I started living a certain way, because Rastafari is a way of life. So that's one change that happened. But it didn't change me enough to the point where I could master my anger, you know. So that came after the incident where this lady came to me with this message of this pastor. You know, and this pastor spoke in depth about certain things of your relationship with God. And he spoke in a way whereby it didn't feel that, you know what, this is Catholic, or this is Muslim, or this is Rasta, or he spoke in a way that was generalizing it, but also rationalizing it for me, you know, without judgment, without bias or anything like that. And I just felt connected to that. You know, and it brought me closer, I think, because of the situation where I could see myself that, you know what, I'm losing my life here, because every day I'm spitting blood. And it was the first time in my life that this happened. I even stopped smoking. I'm smoking again now, but that time I stopped smoking for like 8 months. The way it was so serious, and it just transformed my whole sense of thinking and everything, you know. And the transformation happened when I came out, whereby I saw the way God put things on my way in such a way whereby I couldn't ignore that this is God, that I'm being favored here. You know, I came out of prison. I didn't have like nothing. I had nothing. But I ended up staying in a golf estate that paid something like 10,000 rand a week. And it wasn't my money. It was other people doing this for me. And I just, you know, the transformation came with that message from that lady. Yeah.
Is there anything else you might want to say?
Buy my book.
Buy my book. Follow the YouTube channel.
Well, the YouTube channel is a bit dormant for now at the moment. But the book definitely, it's called Lisa's Story. The lady that wrote the book, the author, Sandy Hoffman, she said that she wants to do it anonymously, as in the people, the characters, because there's certain things in it whereby if you can put the real true names, those people might lose their job. Because they are still active in whatever fields. So it's explosive.
We can't wait. We really can't wait. Oh my God, thank you so much, Harriet, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Likewise, we really hope that you guys got something from Harriet's story, and that you learned something today. Shoo, I don't know, my mind is blown today. I don't want to lie to you guys. So yeah, thank you guys so much.
Hayi mangifike nje vele ngithathe ihamur. Kanti imoto vele ipaye ngaphandle nicely for me. Vele ngabuza into eziningi angithi ngithweni ngaphandle ngiqale ngiphihlize ngapastele ngiqale ngokwensikele babaza kwa ongeke ngale phihlilili obvious aphuma athi yenzani ngithi ubona yenzani.
When did you get released?
The 23rd of March last year. Ngike ngathi ngisemaselini le case le something paranormal happened ngiseselini. I-sunlight eramkulu iflyer alone in the cell. Ngithe mangifika la le sunlight engiyakuyo yabona le plastic lesisipale la ngithe mangiyakulo le plastic lesisipale iphakame lize kimi bafonele i-station commander umfazi athi lesisi kenzakala bamtshela istory athi okay isikhiye athi asikhele nathi athi maqeda ihlisi ne-switch ufuna ubona kahle le store
Station command.
Mamela singadisappoint sitayilishe kamampela. Uthema kaqeda ukuthi kla iphosa kumnyama. I-pawns eyami mina ngicobisa i-pawns. I-pawns yabona kumnyama asibonani like ngenye ngibona ume phambi kwami so mara sibona i-pawns iyenza so njengeyo so.
Ay.
Awubona ngaqala lo i-station commander. Abalaka thi qha. Ekseni babiza umbhoro, babiza
Pastor Mboro.
Babiza no nami or we or yeah, la babiza namanye ama pastor 82 wabelungu bazothanda zelisele.